What's up, everybody? My mouse was frozen. I'm not sure what the heck's going on, but welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Edge of Tech, right here on the Edge of Tech. My name's Jim. I was just about ready to get my iPad rolling if I could not stream, but it looks like we're here. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me and all the good stuff. I'm going to close this just for now. If I need it, I'll come back to it. I apologize that I was a little late. I'm not sure what's happening. My mouse is, my computer's being a little schizophrenic right now. It's like freezing, you know. Don't store mice in the freezer. Absolutely. Welcome everybody. Brian Vines, the BV3D's in the house with us. 2 a.m. in the UK. Welcome. I apologize for the cough. I am still battling this garbage. I got my my throat coat tea is what it's called. And we're going to rock and roll tonight. We're going to talk about this monster. This is the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. You probably are sick of my social media posts about how fast it is and all that happy stuff, because I've been posting a lot since I've had this thing. But I have the pleasure tonight to actually bring in a couple of the gentlemen from Bambu Lab itself. I'm going to bring them right in so we can start talking. First, all the way from Texas in the USA. Kay, how are you?
Yeah, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing good. And all the way, I'm not sure where Dr. Turbo is. We're going to call him Dr. Turbo because that's his nickname, and I absolutely love it. The CEO of Bambu Lab. How you doing?
Great, and it's brilliant here. Thank you for having us here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the stream. I know I've been blowing up social media for the last few days here with all the crazy stuff that's happening on this machine, and you know, it's kind of a funny story how I got involved, but we'll save that for a video that's going to come sometime in the future soon. But everybody in the chat, welcome. I see Maker Viking all the way from Norway. How you doing? Brian Vines is with us. You guys know Brian, right? And let's see, we have a ton of people here already, so I love it. A little over 50 people. So go out there, tweet the stream, and ask away on your questions. Hopefully, I'm going to tag and star the questions as long as I see them, and we'll come back. But welcome, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me. I know it was a little bit late notice. I said yesterday, hey, I want to do the stream. Do you guys want to join? And you guys said sure. So welcome to the stream. You know, I guess I want to start real quick before we dive into this monster. If everybody out there can't tell, I'm super pumped about this printer. But before we dive into this, Dr. Turbo, I'm going to say that 100 times because I actually love the nickname. That's what you go by on Discord, right?
Yes, that's the name I've been used for 10 years. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're the CEO of Bambu Lab, right? This new company that created this absolute beast of a printer. You know, why Bambu Lab? Why did you create the printer, and why 3D printing? Like, you have an awesome history in your past with. Can I say where you came from before? I probably should ask that, right? I think I can.
Yeah. You can.
So you have an absolute awesome past with DJI. And the team with the Mavic Pro, and now you're working with Bambu Lab. So I'm going to give you the floor for a few minutes of why Bambu Lab. Why did you guys start this printer?
Yeah, I will answer this question in two parts. First, why a startup? And then why do you do 3D printers as your product? So the reason we do a startup is I would say quite simple. You know, we joined DJI in the early years when it was still a startup, and that was really, really a good time. And you know, those days people are really objective oriented, and people are rushing to. We want to change the world, and we make brilliant product, and everybody love it. And you have that experience, then you will always miss that experience as the company grows bigger, and you know, as company growing bigger, things may not be the same as a startup, and we miss these days. And you know, one day we say, why don't we have our own startup? You know, we can, you know, join the ride again by ourselves. Then we have a small gang of veterans, we call it, and then we looking into the market to see what can we do with our skills and our know-how. After quite some research, we come back to 3D printer. It's a complicated research process, but I think at the bottom lines, we are makers ourselves. I really enjoyed my days when I had my PhD in Germany, where we have a studio in an apartment, and with all kinds of tools, lathe, all the carpenter tools, and I can make my model aircraft there. And many of our initial guns share the same experience. And we love 3D printers back in 2013 or 14. Yeah, when it was very hot, and everybody thinks that is the dream come true. But of course, when we get the printer, has a bubble burst, and then it's a story that at the beginning we don't plan to do 3D printers. We just bought a 3D printer to do the prototype, and we realized how bad the product is. I know, we thought, well, it's shit, and
it was true,
and we can do it much better, and maybe we can have a successful business by making it. I think that's a very simple version of the story.
Well, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, back in, especially like in 2013, right? Printers have come such an amazing distance since then. And, that brings us to something like this. I saw this, Brian Vines, he's with us tonight. He shot me a 20-second video, and I was just immediately, I was like, what printer is that? I need to know, what is this thing? I've never seen it before. It is absolutely fast. And tonight we're going to show you how fast it is. In a few minutes, maybe 10 or something, we're going to start a Benchy, 17-minute Benchy. And you're going to see it live on a production printer, a 17-minute Benchy. And I'll put I'll put my phone up here with a stopwatch, and we'll watch it with a camera too. But I mean, what's really cool is that you guys came from such a massive company that started as a startup with DJI, and most of your team actually came from DJI. K is an exception. He didn't come from DJI, right? But he came from.
I think they're in the middle of the way. So, but yeah, I'm so lucky to cutting with coming from the DJI.
Yeah, and you came from an awesome background as well. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're based in the U.S. and you're going to be heading up our U.S. The Bambu Lab U.S. operations. Tell us a little bit about that, like what the future looks like in the U.S. maybe for support and stuff like that around this printer.
Yeah, definitely. So based on the product, so I think on my own way also like doing a good to become a future successful company in the future with building a 3D printing is not only to build a good product, so also we need to provide pretty good service and customer support, and to help the communicate to join to using our printer and products. So that's a reason like we are trying to do our best to do all the customer support and also the service, and also helping people in US domestic. So in that way, so the people can get their problem resolved pretty quick and get a response pretty in professional ways. In that way, so we can hold like more customers to join our community to really like enjoy using the printers. And also like in the future, we are starting maybe develop some business development and marketing, like some business doing also in the US. So that's the next step things. The initial part of our target is to maybe taking care of our every customers, like we are taking care of the QOLs. So that's maybe probably the current. I'm like trying my best to working on to make it come true.
And that's awesome. What's awesome is that you're going to be based in the U.S. You're actually pretty close to Brian. I know you've met Brian. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling too much, Brian. I apologize. And I just realized like Brian is an awesome dude. And someone else just said Brian had it before you. Yes, he did. And I saw it. I said, "What is this?" And then immediately emailed Bambu Lab, because I never do that. I never just email out a company, but I immediately emailed out Bambu. I was like, what is this thing? This thing is amazing. but I mean, we're looking at the X1 carbon. This is a production model, so this is what the consumer will get if they back the Kickstarter that's coming up, or if they were to purchase it after the Kickstarter, right? So we're looking at what, version 7, right?
Yes, it's version 7, but the software is not finalized yet, and there's still lots of bugs to be fixed. To be honest.
Yeah, you know, and that's full disclosure. I mean, this hasn't even released to the market yet, but the slicer and the apps. There's an app for Android and Apple, and the slicer is going to be for iOS and Windows. They're still working through. They developed them in-house, brand new from the bottom up. We had a couple quick questions, and then I think you're going to take us through a walk through the factory there for the. But first question, my one question is, can it use any brand of filament? I know the answer, but I'll let you guys answer that.
Yes, basically we don't limit anybody use any filaments on our printer. Just for AIMS, it cannot handle the elastic filaments like TPUs. Other than that, I think you're welcome to try any filaments on the printer. Some of them may work, some of them are not, but that's a technical problem, not from our purpose. Yeah, maybe the hot end cannot handle certain filaments with very high temperature. Yes,
yeah. I mean, the hot end goes to 300C, so anything up to 300C, you're fine. And
also,
yes,
mentioned about like filament. So since like maybe the AMS design with a certain space between each slot, so there are few kind of filament rows, like maybe Amazon Basic rows too wide to fit inside. Yep. Also, there are some kind of tiny, maybe it's too narrows to fit into the AMS system. So
yes.
In our like Austin office, we will test all the brands available in the US market to like make a list and for the audience or for the customers. And so what types of filament are allowed to use, or what kind of filament is not going to be used into our AMS systems.
And it's a good point. And I love that you're going to test all the filaments. I mean, this is your let's see, that's your PA carbon fiber that goes in there, and these are your spools. If I could hit it, there we go. This is actually a polyalchemy spool, so there's that. And I know that the Polymaker fits in here as well with no problem. And then, like you said, you want to do like TPU. I was printing TPU the other day. You want to print that on the spool holder that's on the back. Bypass the AMS. Don't suck it through there.
Yes.
But any spool that will fit will work, which is awesome. What I also love, and these spools are reusable. So when you're done, I don't want to pull this one out, but when you're done, actually I will pull this one out because it's right there. So you just actually twist the spool open, and then it's a reusable spool. And you guys are actually going to sell spool filament coils, right? So you can just reload these spools.
I can find one to show you.
Yeah.
Just a second.
And we'll load this in a second to show everybody too. But it's such a cool idea. Each spool comes with a little RFID tag, so it knows what spool is there. And then he's going to have, excuse me, they're going to have reloadable spools, reloadable coils to go on the reusable spools, which I think is awesome. You don't have to use their filament, but if you do, you get, this, you can actually save a little plastic.
Sure. In the future, like our reusable spools.
There you go.
And just like you buy the toilet papers, and you don't actually to buy the toilet paper holders. You just need to buy those two pieces and like put the filament inside and twist it again. So that's it. So quite simple.
Nice. And someone said, is the RFID tag resettable? I'm not sure what you like. I'm not sure what you mean by resettable. And then how does Polymaker cardboard spools fit? I have some over here. I'll grab it and I'll show you. Let's see. I think we had a really good question too. Someone said, oh, what firmware are you using? You guys self-developed your firmware, right?
Yeah, it's firmware we write from the very first line. We don't use Marlin, we don't use Clipper.
And then just in 3D, what is the difference between the X1 and the X1 Carbon? I'll let you guys take that one.
Okay, you can find a full specification on our homepage. And Basically, X1 and X1 carbon, the difference is X1 carbon is equipped with extra hardened nozzle and hardened extruder, and so they can handle the carbon fiber reinforced filaments better. And X1 carbon is equipped with extra cooling fan. So at the side of the printer, so you can have a super strong cooling to accelerate the speed. And for the cameras, spaghetti detections, also X1C is equipped with the cameras. But X1, you can upgrade your X1 by buying the camera separately and plug it in. But X1 is all equipped all with all these devices by default. Yes.
And if somebody wanted to go with the standard X1, they can later, after everything is settled down with the Kickstarter, you're going to be able to upgrade the camera or the fan or the hot end, right?
Yes.
Cool. And then you'll be able to buy the AMS separately later.
For sure.
Awesome. One thing that's pretty cool is
in X1, X and X1. So the X1 carbon comes with aluminum, like the anodized aluminum shell. But like maybe the X1 is only coming with a hard plastic shell. So
gotcha. Nice. Yeah, and it is really nice. The fit and finish on this thing is like $1 million. I tell you, you guys released prices a couple days ago, and I was blown away that this thing is only $9.99 for the early bird Kickstarters for everything that you see here, plus four like quarter rolls, right, of filament, I think, 4 different filaments, which is really cool. And the cool thing about the AMS is that you can do different colors, different filaments, different colors of different filaments, and you can mix and match them. So if you wanted to print with a different material for your infill, you can do that, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yep.
I think one main purpose of AMS is you can do the support filaments.
Nice. And then someone says, can you print 3 colors? Sure. I think you could print 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah. In the future, it's like after we using the AMS hub, so we can print up to 16 colors. Yeah, probably you want to do that in the future.
Yeah, these are actually linkable. You can link 4 AMS devices. AMS is automatic material. What is it? Automatic material. I just lost it.
I think just like the automatic material system. That's
there you go. It just disappeared all of a sudden. Anyways, but yeah, you can link up to 4 together and use 16 if you have the actual space for it, right? So I think what we should do is let's kick off the Benchy. I want to kick off a Benchy, and then while we're doing the Benchy, why don't I let you do a tour of the studio? That way, I can kind of like sit back and watch. Everyone can kind of watch the Benchy go, and you go at the same time. So there you go. System. Thank you, Brian. Automatic material system. There we go. Let's see. I think, does it come fully built? Absolutely. You literally take it out of the packaging. It comes with shipping bolts. Everything's packed inside, which is amazing, by the way. I love how you guys pack this machine. And then you unbolt it to get the AMS out and to get some other things out, and you're done. You just plug it in. That's it. Let's see. Do they need to be all the same temp for multi-materials? No, I don't think so. That's a no, right? I'm pretty sure if I was going to use multiple materials.
Yeah, for the nozzle temperature, they can be different because every time you switch the filament, you can change the nozzle temperature. Yep. But if you print all them on the same bed, I would suggest the bed temperature shouldn't be too different. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Brian. That's perfect. So here's what we'll do. Let's get this Benchy going. I'm going to flip this machine on. Actually, it is on. So I'm going to flip it on again. And then while we're doing this, I'm going to drop chat just for a minute. It's up to 16 or 1, 4, or 16. It's up to 16 in sets of 4. So you can link 4 different AMS systems like this together. 256 millimeters by 256 by 256. Yes. Let's see. And then if I can control, I don't know what is going on with my mouse tonight. It is off the rails here. Do you? I tell you what. Do you want to start your tour? And while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull the slicer
Yes,
up on my side.
I can
and then
show
we'll
you
get it
around
going.
about the office.
Sure.
Let me see whether I can. No, it seems I cannot switch the camera. Can I?
You should be able to. There's I think if you tap at
Yes.
the bottom of the screen, there you go.
Wait a moment.
That is so funny. My mouse is crazy right now. Again.
Yeah, this is basically. So the reason why we use reusable spool, you see this huge box, it was filled with empty spools. They just emptied yesterday, so they have only 2 there. If you look at this huge amount of waste plastic, you will say, no, we don't want to go that way. We want to save the spools. And here is actually we call it the mini farm, where we test all the machines. They just get a V7. You can see the number here, 79, because the 9th machine on the V7 version. And we even have some older version. I think here is V5. I think today they are printing multicolor prints. Yeah.
Multicolor, huh?
Yeah. It's Persian.
All right. Let me see if I can maximize you. And then we can see your screen a little better.
Well, this better if I
put there you go.
Horizontal, yeah.
There you go. Oh, wrong one. Now I'm gonna do this. My PC is a little bit crazy. I don't know what's happening. I use this thing every week. Try again. I'm just gonna jump in and tell it to maximize you while we're. Oh, of course. As soon as I start the iPad up, mouse freeze up. All right, here we go. So you're looking at multicolor prints now.
Yeah. And I will just do another one. Yeah, the multi-color printing is very challenging because of the reliability. You switch the films for so many times, and any one of them fails, the print fails. So we test it extensively. And I think this one is also printing something like this. And, let's see. Yeah, the weight. Everybody like weight. There are also some printers back. They are not printing, but just doing stress testing of the firmware. I think for those are the V5 machines. We don't use them for printing anymore. But here is a TPU test, and I just saw a very most of those printers are doing the stress test for the firmware. They're not actually printing, but just running the firmware, running the commands, in very fast pace, and try to stress all the bugs out. And for those, we do the actual print test. I can just show you here. I think the focus is not perfect. And I can show you where we store all our old version.
All right, I'm back. Apologize for
There's a pile of our Pioneer printers where we do all the concept evaluation.
Oh, nice.
And they are retired now, and we just put them here temporarily before we put some of them to our museum if we have one, and recycle some of them. I think that's almost all for our mini farm. It's quite low.
Very cool. And so someone says, what is the speed on these things? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think like my Dr. Tao lost connections for some
that's
reason.
okay.
And or so I can take over.
Yeah.
But the accelerations like we can boost up to 20,000. It's not to 20,000. It's to 20,000 millimeter per square millimeter per square seconds per. So that kind of accelerations, and also our maybe travel speed can reach to 500 millimeter per minute.
Awesome. No, it looks like a really cool place. It's super fast. We're about to show you that in a second here. And I love the factory. I don't know what you call it. The shop, the factory, we'll call it. Where are you
No,
guys?
it's called mini farm. It's not a factory. It's actually it's in the office. We just have a room in the office where we can, put hundreds of printers in there. We call it mini farm or mini line. Yeah.
All right, mini farm. I like it. I like it. All right, here we go. So
once in Austin office in the near futures. So the printer is still under shipping to the Austin. So we'll have duplicate another mini lab to helping the customers test the different material filaments for US market.
So what we're going to do real quick, and I'm just looking at the time here. I am going to show you. So this is what it looks like with the Bambu slicer currently, right? And this is what the page it loads up to. So what you do is you would come up here to a new project. There we go. And I'm going to leave everything on the left side. I'm not even going to touch it. On this one, you guys sent me a Benchy, so I'm going to use that Benchy. Just so everybody out there knows this, the Benchy I'm going to use was actually sent, I believe I downloaded it yesterday, which was the 18th, right? Yeah, perfect. Was sent to over. Do you move it or do you leave it on this side of the bed? Usually, Kay.
Yeah, I think like they can move to somewhere, but the printing time should be in effect.
Because I wanted to show this. So what we do is if you click this little button up here, it'll auto arrange everything for you. So, and you can choose your spacing, which I thought was really nice too. You can tell it how far between each object, etc.
Yeah, for the Benchy printing, like we suggest like using the bows towards to the side fans, so that in that way it can blow more air to get better cooling result for our Benchy printing. So you probably can do the maybe 90 degrees counterclockwise turn.
Or you can
simply Control Z to go back to the previous step. Oh yeah, so that would be fine.
Perfect, because the blower's over here, right?
No, the blower's on the left side. So
yeah, the blower's over here. Yeah,
the Bambu Lab word. So
yeah, we'll do that. So when I did this, I actually just let it auto arrange and I let it fly. But we're going to use it just like that. So we'll turn it. I am not going to do anything different. Let's see. Does Chad have anything? Research and development. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump out of here. We're going to load up the AMS with the filament. So I'm going to pull up full screen. I'm going to open this up and we'll use your white PLA that you sent me. This is the Bambu Lab PLA Basic. So you just set it in like this. There's a little hole down in here. It's going to be hard to hold it back. I'm just going to do this. You drop it in the little hole and that's it. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it's spinning the spool. It's doing everything that it needs to do and pulling the filament in. And that's it. That's as easy it is to load the spool, and then it'll retract a little bit. There we go. And you can load them all like that if you want to. I'm just going to use the first slot, which is the slot 1, I believe, is this slot over here, right on the. If you're facing the printer, it'll be the left slot. All right. Let me go back over here. Oops. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click. There's no other, there's nothing else, no other filaments loaded. So I don't need to tell it what filament to use. And I'm just going to hit the slice button that's up in the top here. That won't take too long here. It's warning us because it thinks it needs supports, but we're going to ignore that. And this particular one says 21 minutes.
Yeah, the 21 minutes like is included with the previous calibration times for this kind of version of slicers. So but
Got it.
minus with 6 minutes or 7 minutes maybe calibration times.
Oh, so the total time here actually is the total time with the calibration?
Yeah, definitely. So we
Awesome.
modified that recently.
That's cool. And then everybody give me 1 second. I'm not exactly paying attention to the chat, but I will be right back. The next thing you want to do is just hit the print button. I'm going to tell it to find my printer that I registered. There we go. And I'm just going to hit send. So while it's sending, I'm actually going to bring another camera around. I'm going to drop this from the view so we can all be back in here. There you go. We're back. I'm going to grab another camera. And let's see, do we have any, I'm actually going to pull up the chat because I missed a bunch of the chat here. Maybe. Here we go. It's a modified Benchy. Yeah, so it's the one they sent me. So I sliced my own. The one that I posted, I think, recently, I sliced myself. They sent me one that's just a little faster. They know the slicer better than I do. Let's see. Poking the filament just pulls out. Yeah. Do cardboard spools spin and work? I'll double check, but I think so. You don't.
Yeah, I will try to explain this. So the cardboard spool.
Yeah.
Actually, the AMs does not like cardboard spools very much because the when you pull the filament out of the spool and retract the spool, the cardboard spool may generate some of the debris from the paper. These may get into the filaments and pollute the filament and jam the product. Maybe if you just print straightforward, like not doing the multicolor print, I think it's okay. But if you're doing the you switch the filament very frequently, I will suggest you don't use the cardboard spools. You can just rewind the spool, maybe or try to avoid using it. For single color, it's fine. I hope this answer helps you. Yeah.
I'm going to go real tiny in the corner of my screen because I think it's important to show the printer over me right now. But that was a great description of the cardboard spools. I appreciate that. And let's see, can the printer hold 5-pound spools? No, they won't fit, I don't believe. Actually, it definitely won't fit in the AMS. Do you have to keep the door open while you're printing PLA? Absolutely not. I just opened it. I opened it because I want to show you. I wanted this camera in here, but I also want to show you over here. So there's a light in here. There's also a fan. This is the blower right here. And there's a big fan that sits down there and blows air across the bed where you're printing, and it helps cool. Because this thing is printing so fast, it helps with the cooling. That's my understanding, at least. There we go. So right now it's just heating up. This thing takes, I've seen an average of 220 to 240 temps take about 20 seconds to heat up. Because you guys use a ceramic heater, right?
Yeah, so we are using the ceramic heaters on our nozzles. Like it's attached on the side of nozzles to heat entire pieces of nozzle to make them heat them pretty quick.
All right. And I did throw some glue stick down. The reason why we use the glue stick is because this sheet holds way too strong. This thing grips onto your print like you need a jackhammer to get it off sometimes. So you throw some glue stick down. They include one. It's hard to see me in the very corner, but they include one in the kit for you. And that way stuff releases. When you're printing this fast, it has to stick to that bed super good. Otherwise, you're going to have a mess. Excuse me. So another thing I want to show while we're here, it's doing its thing. What are we doing here? It's about ready to start the bed leveling, I believe. There we go. So this is where it gets crazy, everybody. I don't know if you can see the bed shaking there, but this is the bed leveling process, and it is something like I've never seen before. The bed just looks like an earthquake's happening, but it does that for the vibration, right?
No, it's just for the bed leveling, but for the vibration controls, it's like the two head is shaking itself to scan the mild frequencies of the machines. So in that way, we need to cancel the vibration for our active vibration control system to do the better result during the sharp turn and during the corners. So this is our intuitive invention, one of our intuitive inventions for these machines.
Nice.
Yeah, but don't worry if someone like that maybe receive the printers like the first time and do the vibration stuff, and don't be scared. So it's absolutely normal for people to use.
And we had another good question. Will there be any other bed surfaces available?
Yes. So the bed, including the printer, is two-sided. One side, we call it the cool plate, which you can print PLA in low temperature to save energy. And the other side of the plate is, we call it engineering plate, to print nylon and the PC, polycarbonate. We will have a third surface available, which is PEI, we call it high temperature bed, just in case you print something, really needs the PEI surface. But as far as I know, I think the two sides on the included building plate is sufficient for most filaments you will encounter. Yeah.
Perfect. And let's see what it's doing here. Oh, it's still going through the bed leveling now. I'm just getting a stopwatch set up too, just so we know. There we go. I'm not sure where I can put the stopwatch, but I'll show you all and then we'll go. So another cool thing is if I add this to the stream again, this is our slicer. This is in the printer tab of the slicer, and it shows you everything you need to know. The temps right now, we're not printing on a heated bed at all. It does not heat up for PLA. You can if you want to, but in this case, the stock settings don't. We know the enclosure, this is the enclosure temperature, right, at 25C. Doesn't need to heat up as well, but currently we're at, we were at 212, it shot up to 221 in just a second there. And real quick, we're missing something good here. I just want to show this. So right now it's going to print, there we go. It's going to print a little pattern and some lines in the front of the printer. And I'll let you guys explain what's that doing.
The pattern on the left is actually to calibrate the camera and LiDAR and the nozzle to make the camera know where is where, on the building plate coordinate. And then the line draws several lines, parallel lines. These are for the calibration of the flows, to dynamic flows. So you can see the tool head is accelerating and decelerating and print, bubbles out of the nozzle. And then the LiDAR will scan the lines to see where it's too fat and where it's too thin. And in the end, they are trying to building up a model to predict the pressure and the flow, the relation between the pressure and the flow. And in the end, they will put all the parameters back into the system and draw a line with acceleration and deceleration. If the line is perfectly straight with uniform width, then everything is perfect. Yeah. So basically a calibration process for the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did see a couple quick questions. Number one, can you use Raspberry Pi on it? No, for two reasons. No. You don't need to, because everything's built in. It does Wi-Fi right out of the box, and it does. It shoots to your app. It shoots to iPhone, Android, Apple, iOS, and Windows. And then another question: does it do calibration every print? Looks like Brian jumped on that one as well, but it doesn't have to. But in my opinion, why? I mean, you can turn it off, but what's the point of turning it off if it's going to give you that first print every single time, right? So right now we see it dropping in the first layer. I just wanted to say that real quick too.
Yeah, I will just explain. So you don't need to calibrate the flow every time. Basically, you need to calibrate it whenever you have a new nozzle and a new filament. And in the final release of the software, And every time they do the calibration, they will the system will memorize the parameters. It will fine and doing the print afterwards. And for the bed leveling, the bed is actually very rigid. We don't have the adjustable nose underneath the bed. So if you don't remove the the steel sheet, then you basically don't need to recalibrate to redo the bed leveling to save your time. You don't have to do all these process every time before the print.
Nice. I see. Personally, I think we're so much closer to having one of these in every house, and I think if you leave it on, it's just safer. But you're right. You don't have to. I'm just a weirdo that will. I just want to point out it started printing right now, and if you guys can see, as you can see on the screen right now, is absolutely crazy fast right now. I did start a stopwatch on the side here, by the way, too. Also, I wanted to show this while it's printing, and I had a minute. So in the slicer, you can actually jump in and hit go. Oops. There we go.
A few times.
And yeah, and it'll actually load a camera right in the slicer, which is super cool. So I was going to bring this up to Kay, and Dr. Turbo, you're perfect because you're on here too. It would be really cool if we could maximize the screen or at least blow it up a little, because when we're doing streams, we could actually pop this window, full screen or blow it up a little bit and actually use this in a second screen to watch the printer. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not sure if that's possible or not. And I know it probably takes up a little bandwidth, but it would be really cool for a stream like this if I could make that full screen and then just show the whole printer right from the onboard 1080p camera, right?
Yeah, we will just add that to our wish list, I would say.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I just wanted to show this thing. I mean, it's rocking and rolling. Let us know in the chat. Have you guys ever seen a production printer? Hold on, what just fell over? Something over here. I knocked something over. Have you guys ever seen a production printer this fast out of the box? I mean, this thing is ridiculous. Did you guys have a goal when you built this? Like, oh, I want it this fast or anything like that?
Yeah, we had a goal. I think I would like to thank Mirage C, another YouTube KOL, and we saw his printer back in 2020, and we said, "Wow, it's possible to do this fast. We will do this fast." And actually, the printer can go faster, because this is a firmware release for everybody.
Right.
So we try to make it safe, and I think right now you are running at 10K acceleration or 20K.
And I could jump in the screen and jump it up to ludicrous mode if I really want to. I mean, we want to get crazy in here. But I just want to, someone just asked a couple questions I wanted to say. Number one, it's a boy in space. What's up, man? Let's see. Does it have spaghetti detective? It will have spaghetti detection. Yes. Let's see. Multicolor is fast. Yes, it obviously has to switch between colors, but while it's printing, it's just as fast. Let's see. It will have time lapse? From what I understand, it will have time lapse from the onboard 1080 camera, right?
Yes.
I think I saw that as an option on my Android now.
Yeah, I think the time lapse development is not finished yet, but the UI UX is already there. Perfect.
Also, let's see. I'm going to get the mobile interface right now, in a minute here. I'll show you what that looks like. 12-watt auxiliary part cooling fan is on the side, and all that adds extra cooling. Someone asked what it does. So it sits on this side of the printer. You probably can't see me too good, but it sits on this side of the printer, and it has a duct that blows up past kind of where the nozzle is in the hot end. And you guys can help me just explain that a little better. But my understanding is it needs that extra cooling, or that extra cooling is so you can go so fast, right?
Yes. For overhangs, if it's the print super fast and the layer time is low, you really need the extra cooling to get the plastic, to freeze before the next layer is laid down upon them.
And let's see, what do we got? Yes on the spaghetti detection. Voron, completely different because you build it from scratch. It's a different monster. If you want something straight out of the box, this is like ridiculous fast here out of the box. And I mean, everything I've printed so far, I've used standard settings right from the slicer. I haven't changed anything just to test that out. Does the X1 plastic frame handle the speed the same way, someone said?
Oh, yeah. So
Yes.
the same. Yeah.
Awesome.
Other locating wins using the.
One thing I would add, because X does not have the the extra cooling fan, maybe it cannot print the Benchy as fast because Benchy is a small model. The layer time is very low. But if we print a big model, the speed should be similar. Yeah. The motion system are identical. Yeah.
Someone says, does it have hardened nozzles? The X1 Carbon does come with a hardened nozzle. The X1 does not. And you get an extra one in the packaging too, right? You get another whole, kind of like a little mini, not a full hot end, but pretty close. And then let's see. TK 3D Print says, no, he's saying when the printer's running, it looks like a time lapse. It really does. It looks like you're watching a time lapse in real time.
So for the nozzle, I want to add extra information. Actually, the nozzles on both X1 and X1C are steel nozzles, so they are much more harder than copper. Just the X1C have extra hardened steel, this very special steel, which was treated, and I think it's right now we get 50 HRC and really hard, so can print the nylon carbon fiber very well.
And I'm actually going to do some carbon fiber printing. I got a couple of parts to print, so we're going to test that out pretty soon here. We had a couple of really good questions. Where's the spool holder when we're not using the AMS or you don't have one? I'll show you that when we're done with this print. It's on the back of the machine. I do wish, my feedback, I do wish it was a little bit bigger for the bigger spools. But you can definitely make it work as it is as well. Let's see. Straight out of the box beats anything you have to build. Absolutely. If you're not into building it, or you just want something that's so much closer to a microwave where you just set it up and press print, this has been the closest printer I've ever touched to that. Is there going to be issues sometimes? There always, right now there always is, but the goal for these guys is to make that not happen, right?
Yeah. So this our goals to maximize the user experiences. Yeah, you don't have to build the parts, and you don't have to do a lot of troubleshooting with our printers, and so we're pretty using cell phones and using modern electronic devices. So we want to everyone can use the 3D printer just like using our TVs at home. Right.
A couple questions. Let's see. How fast do the belts wear? In your testing, do they wear fast because it's going so fast, or not so much?
Actually, the belt is doing quite well. We rarely need to change the belt on the mini farm. I think I can't remember any case. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also,
is there? Sorry.
Comes with auto belt tension systems. So there's something loosen with our belts. So you just simply unscrew and re-screw the screw back in. So the belt's gonna be automatically tensioned. So we already have a preset force springs on the device with the spools for the belt holders. So in that way, so it's pretty to adjust the tension force. So for the customer himself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Also, let's see. Is there an additional heater for the chamber when you want to heat up the chamber?
No, we don't have additional heater for the chamber. So the chamber temperature is regulated, regulated by a fan. When the temperature is too high, the fan will blow the hot air to the outside, so it cools down. But we don't have the heater to increase temperature. So the chamber temperature is kind of regulated, but not fully. Yeah.
Yeah, because we designed a lot of maybe heat resistance material on the side of the machine, so the internal is also can be considered as thermal isolate. So like once the heat plate is heating up the bag, so the entire chamber temperature going to raise up. So the only thing we can be controlled is to make it not going too far, too high with temperature. So which is regulate the rest of the heat out of the chamber, inside of the internal chamber. So just like to make sure so everything goes on the safe side.
Perfect. How much, let's see, I'm not sure if we can talk about how much the filament will cost yet, but if you can answer that, great. But I don't know if we can.
Yeah, the filaments will cost basically the same as other brands with similar quality. So we won't overcharge we will not overcharge the filament just because it has an RFID on it. Actually, the RFID itself is not expensive.
Are you guys working with? I don't know if you can answer this as well on live stream here yet, but are you working with a brand out there to develop your filaments for you?
Yeah, we work with very respected brands for filament making, and yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Also about the filaments, so we want to say so like because like maybe due to the shipping cost, that kind of things, we didn't like. We probably cannot earn some profit when selling the filaments. But the things like we want to sell the filaments is we want to provide the best user experiences using our RFIDs and use our own filaments. So in that way, so we can increase the maybe user experience. Like you use our filaments, it definitely has better experience. You print other brand of filaments. So that's our purpose is. For like maybe RFID designs and like maybe assemble like a spool and that kind of things. They're really helpful to using our maybe filaments, and price is going to be set at around maybe $20 per each spool, per each row.
That's awesome. And the cool thing is if you get the X1 carbon, the whole thing, the whole setup with AMS, you get, I believe, 4 spools that come with it that are reusable. So you already have 4 spools, which is awesome. Let's see. Someone asked, do you know what the volumetric flow limit is? I don't know if you guys know that off the top of your head.
Yeah, I think something like 32 cubic millimeters per second, if I remember it right. Yeah.
Holy moly.
But with ABS, yeah, it's different material, have different flow rate.
Sure. Hunting Guy, it will not fit coax spools in the AMS, but it will fit coax spools on the back. I've tested a few of them now. Let's see. What kind of warranty? I believe it's a 1-year limited warranty, right?
Yeah, you can check our homepage. There's a very detailed warranty policy there. 12 months.
Someone's asking, are you guys going to have a stock in the US of parts and that kind of stuff in case it breaks? Say something breaks.
Yeah, we definitely have stock parts in the US. Also, like the most of parts for the spare parts is located in Austin. Also, we have maybe a warehouse in Los Angeles, and to do the dispatching with parts and filaments and the rest of things. Yeah, but definitely we have maybe support team. So we like when someone's part is gonna fail, for example, for maybe the nozzle get jammed, or so they need a replacement nozzles and with a hot end. So we definitely can ship you immediately from the US to the customer. Probably take less than a week for a customer can receive the replacement part, and also we will send the guide how to replace the part to the customer. So
perfect,
pretty easy to use.
And that's awesome to hear. I mean, it's awesome that you guys are investing in US based operations as well, because it really helps out people like myself when we break something and we don't have to wait for 2 months for a part to come.
We're trying to do the same in Europe, and we're hiring.
Nice.
We haven't found the right guy to lead the Europe division yet.
There you go. If you're the right guy for Europe, they want to talk to you. Let's see. How loud is it? I'm not going to lie. When the door's closed, it's better. When it is flying this fast, it is so fast, and it's moving so fast that it's definitely louder than your silent printers. But I'm talking to you. I have a lavalier mic on, so I imagine you can hear some noise. it's not canceling anything. So someone said close the door. No. Can you guys tell us, do you know when the Kickstarter will start? I'm not sure if that's been announced yet, has it?
We plan to start Kickstarter at the end of May. That's the May 31st. But we haven't get the final confirmation from Kickstarter. So there may be change, but hopefully not. Yeah.
Perfect. And then someone else said, do you know how long the Kickstarter will run once you start the Kickstarter? And
we don't plan to run a very long Kickstarter because everything is ready. The mass production is in ramping up phase. We probably will run it for only 1 month, 30 days or so.
Perfect. Let's see. The bed is thick. Absolutely. Is the bed here silicone? I love these questions, by the way.
We have very, very good design for the whole bed. It's not silicone, but it's high wattage and very safe.
I got to tell you, it heats up crazy fast. Just like the ceramic heater that you guys have on the hot end. Can you talk a little bit about that, because that is super unique for one, and number two, it's so fast to heat up.
Yeah. So in the V6, yeah. You have thing by your hand. It's easier to explain.
Yeah. So here's our design of our heat, like the heat sink and the nozzles, which is mounted together. It's also with a fan on the back. So on this side, so we have the entire plate. I can open it up and for you get a more detailed view. Just a second. Yeah, here we go. So the top surface on this side is also it's getting heated up with this plate. I can remove it. Yeah, here's our maybe heaters of the entire nozzles, which is pretty bigger than the rest of them. And also we have a thermal paste in between the gap between the nozzles and the heater plate to making it like that, just like heater works pretty quick. And also get a thermostat inside of the nozzles to measure the. Oh yeah, it's the Benchy is down, I think. Hey, Jim, I think you're on mute.
See that? I was coughing and I muted myself. I got so excited because the Benchy quit. My phone, I started this thing at about 45 seconds late. So as soon as I heard it printing, I remembered to hit start. It says 16 minutes, 15 seconds. But I really believe that's about 17 minutes, 15 seconds, right around there. If we add 1 minute for my, my starting it late. But absolutely, this thing is super crazy fast. Let's see, what wattage power supply? Can you tell us that? I'm not sure. Sure.
Power supply.
Yeah. What wattage?
Yeah, we have very small. If you mean the DC transmitter, it's not very small. It's only 60 watts. Yeah, because we don't hit the hotbed with the DC power. We hit the hotbed with the AC power. Yeah. In US, because your voltage is low, I think it's 110 volts, right? The hotbed is not that high power. I think it's only 300 watts. But in Europe and in Asia, where we have 220 watts, the hotbed can heat up in very high power. That's almost 1 kilowatts in peak. Yeah.
Wow. Holy moly. So Justin, you were asking about, does the coil matter when it comes to the RFID or the coil and the RFID need to match? When you get a new coil, you get a new RFID to put on the coil. So you can always match those. I'll close the door in 1 second. Someone said close the door. Let's see. Checks a lot of boxes. Absolutely. It checks. I mean, like, you can see why I was absolutely like just pumped as soon as I saw this thing. As soon as I saw Brian shot me that video. Thank you so much, Brian, for sending me that video, because I saw your Benchy and I was like, what is this? I need to know right now. Let's see. Please show a close-up. I'm going to do that right now. How is the dimensional accuracy, someone says?
Well, dimensional accuracy is quite good. And from the printer side, I think we do a quite good job. But as you know, the dimensional accuracy is more relied on the material because the thermal expansion rate of the material. I think right now, if you use the right material, we can have excellent accuracy compared to other printers.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I printed, if you guys have ever tried the Clock Spring torture toaster, the toaster that was created for my channel here in Hotmakes, it says right here. Let me show you this real quick. I printed this full speed, didn't slow it down 1 second. I used the default settings, and this was at 0.2 layers, okay? It came out, and it's hard to kind of show you, but everything turns on the side. The gears turned. The gaps were perfect here. Of course, the toast pops. So there's a whole bunch of mechanisms in here that have to print perfect for all this to happen. And if anyone's ever tried to print this, they know it can be a pain in the butt. It's a boy in space. Just notice your Hogwarts shirts. Yes, Slytherin for life, man. Let's see. Clearance tests. I'm going to run, I think I'm going to run Angus's next. But this is an amazing test here. I dropped it, and I popped out a couple of my my tabs because I dropped it on accident. But you know, like I said, these turn, everything printed flat. Oh, my camera just decided it was going to shut itself off. There we go. Oh, I was going to show you this side. So this is, if I get a close-up look, this is all your bridging tests here, different angles. So really nice. Everything printed really good. And this was at full speed, completely full speed, default 0.2. So, and it did print the toaster like that right out of the box. I didn't touch anything, glue stick on the bed and let it fly, which is super impressive. This is the Benchy that just print. Let's see if I can, it might be a little blown out on the GoPro here, but you can see the overhangs here. Perfect. No sagging there, which is awesome. You can read. Can you guys read that? I'm going to maximize this screen here for a second. You can not read because it's blown out. Let me see if I can get it away from the light a little bit more here. There you go. You can read all the letters on the bottom. The bow looks like this. Very nice. I should have printed this in a darker color, huh? Like I said, gaps here look great. The stack, the circle part of the stack is, I mean, perfect. I mean, dang near perfect. The circle on the back looks really nice. Square looks good. Let's see. There's the back. And I can read the words on the back. It's just hard to show in the camera. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of that. We'll call it right over 17 minutes for the Benchy that you're looking at right here, and about 22 minutes when it ran the calibration before, which is awesome, by the way. So that's stock, and everything I've printed has been off the stock printer with stock settings. With the default settings, I haven't changed anything. Let's see. Multicolor print. I will work on a multicolor print next. I know Brian has one out there. I'm not sure if he's shown it yet. I know we're running. I guess I told you guys an hour, so I want to keep it pretty close here because I know you guys are both busy. Kay, you have been absolutely amazing to work with, by the way. He has been available anytime we need him. I chatted him last night at midnight, and he was still typing me back. So thank you so much for that. Is it fast to switch filaments out? Excuse me. So are you talking about with the AMS or not? Because in the AMS, it is super easy. If I want to load another filament, like this orange one, I open it up. Always hold on to the end of your spool. I just want to throw it out there. I do not cut these anymore. I just toss them in. And this machine, there you go. It's loading. I don't know if you can see it spinning, but it just pulls it in. It's ready to go. And then it unloads the white one. Well, not unloads, but it pulls it back a little. But there you go. The orange one is ready to go now. And you can have them all 4 loaded. So real quick, something we didn't talk about. I want to bring the camera around the back and show them that for a second. This thing is pretty cool. When you're done, when it's pulling it out, it actually like does a purge and it cuts the filaments right in the back, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that process?
For the color switching.
For excuse me,
For the cutter, for the filament cutter, I guess.
Yeah, the cutter.
Well, anybody who uses the Prusa MMU will know the trick, because MMU just pull the filament directly from the nozzle. So you really have to fine tune all the parameters. Then you can pull a quite okay shaped nozzle filament tip out of the nozzle without jamming. And we find that is too tricky for us. So we place a cutter at the tool head. So when the filament is retracted from the hot end, we leave a few millimeters of the filament inside of the hot end and cut it and leave it there. So we don't want a string. You see, sometimes you get a string to mess up with all the extruders, all the sensors, and all the amps. Yeah. So we have a cutter in the tool head. So every time you get unload a spool, you will have a very clean cut tip of the filament.
So Jim, you are muted again.
I keep doing that because I keep coughing. What I was doing, oh yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let me show this full screen and I'll pull him back on. So this is a little chute here. When the filament does its purging and cutting, it actually comes out the back of the printer. So if you get a printer and you wonder what the heck the filament pieces are in the back, just they're coming out here. You can print a little can here. I won't ruin Brian what he calls it. I'm gonna not ruin that. But anyways, you can print something here to catch it if you want to. This is the filament holder that your roll of filament will sit on. So again, I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger because the bigger rolls are hard to get on. But really, it just sits like that. And you would take this tube out here and then unplug your AMS. You don't want the AMS plugged in, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it would actually spin right here and it would go right into here. So that's how that works with the spool. And then let's see, we got, can you talk, I know we're running a little bit late. Last thing, can you tell us what this piece right here helps with?
That's the buffer of the feeding system. So because we have AMs, the feeding length is quite long, right? The filament come out of the spool, get into the AMs, has several selectors and the sensors, and go all the way to the tool head. It's a long path. And the long paths cause problems, cause extra frictions and drag. And we want the tool head, the extruder on the tool head to work in a perfect condition, right? No extra stress from the filaments. So every time they move, they get exactly the right amount of filament into the hot end. So what can we do is we create a buffer at the back of the printer. So the buffer take care of the pressure inside the tool head. So they're a bit positive pressure of the filament. Actually, from the extruder point of view, the filament is slightly pushed into the extruder. So all the torque on the extruder will contribute to the pushing of the filament into the hot end instead of wasted in pulling the filament from the feeding system. Yeah, that's the key to have a very dynamic and accurate extrusion.
Yeah, so it kind of pulls some through and then keeps the pressure on this side. So it always has a pressure
constant
going to your printer, to your hot end, and then it allows the spring on the back end, you know, to keep it kind of pulling through. It's a really cool system. And then I totally forgot. Someone asked me about the iPad app, and I'm gonna show you real quick here because there's so much to show, and I know we're running late on time here. So I am using this one. It is not complete yet, but this is kind of what it looks like. I should just show the real camera. But you can go to devices here. When you go to devices, it'll pull up everything you need to know. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let's see. Let's do this so I can see it a little better. There you go. So it'll pull up everything you need to know. We just printed a Benchy. Actually, there you go. It tells us right there. It finished in 17 minutes, 30 seconds. So I was 15 seconds off. You can hit your button here. Oops. You can hit your button there. So you can show the inside of, let's see. Uh-oh. Should show the inside of the printer.
Yep.
And then this one, you can actually do full screen with this button here. Usually it does. Maybe I shut it off. I might actually shut the printer off. Anyways, and then it tells you your enclosure, hot end, and bed temps, your graphs here. You can turn on your coolings, all that stuff. And if you have a version, a firmware, you can actually change your firmware right here. So if I can go look and see, look, there's a firmware upgrade, and I can do that if I want to. So that's a pretty cool app. It's the same, pretty close for the Android, and it is still in development, but it's pretty dang awesome. Once it's developed, you'll be able to run time lapses and stuff right from your iPad or Android or whatever. Pull that go. Well, there you go. Awesome. And then let's see. Louisiana guy. It's a passive dryer. Yes, desiccant packs inside the AMS. True. Can it integrate with any other slicers?
Yes and no. The printer reads the standard G code. So if your slicer generates standard G code, the printer should read it and just perform, just do the G code tell them to do. But for the AMs, for the calibration, for the LiDAR, some of them need the effort from the studio, from the slicer side. So if you use the Cura, it's basically a normal coaxial fast printer, but you may not use the fluid calibration and some of the features. And
Perfect. And Bradley, I know you came in a little late. Yes, you can use any other filaments with it. Any filaments that will fit in the box, you can use in the box in the AMS. Otherwise, it'll go on the back. Otherwise, if you want to, you can set a spool behind there. If you have a really big spool, you can actually set it right behind there and it'll feed into, or on the side of the printer and right up in. So that's cool. Guys, I know I'm keeping you late. Everybody else, last chance. I'm going to give you just one more minute to say thank you, hi, whatever you think about this printer. If you have one more question or something. Otherwise, I promised an hour. We're at an hour and 17 minutes. And I know Dr. Turbo, I love that name, by the way. You're super busy. He's the CEO of Bambu Lab. While everybody else is commenting and maybe potentially asking questions or something, one more time, Dr. Turbo, what is the goal? What's the mission statement of Bambu Lab? And then, where can we find you?
Pardon me, I didn't get an answer. I think the microphone.
Oh, that's fine. I said, while everybody's typing, can you tell us, kind of what's the mission statement of Bambu Lab itself, and a little bit like one more time why you started Bambu Lab, and then where can we come find you, like a website?
We think 3D printing is very cool, and we want everybody to use it as a versatile tools to unleash. We call it unleash your creativity, and if everything goes right, we can have excellent 3D printer in every maker's home, and everybody like it to have a whenever they get an idea, they can print it out in super fast. They don't have to tinkering around the printer for longer than they doing the creative job. Yeah.
Awesome. And let me drop that down. So thank you so much, Louisiana Hobby Guy. $10. Thank you. He said I almost convinced him that he needs another printer. I think you need another printer, and this might be it. Will it ship worldwide? Somebody asked me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if the hobbyist guys want to buy our printer, I definitely will give at least $10 off with his printers.
Nice. Yeah, someone said, can you buy on Kickstarter? Will there be an option to buy like a 2-printer combo pack? Like, can you buy? We're gonna have an option to buy like 2 of the X1 carbons in one package or something like that.
It's not set yet. We will consider it.
Ooh, I like it. See that? So you're saying there's a chance, everybody. If there is, I'm not gonna lie, it'll probably be me buying it. I'll be like, let's see. Yeah, the price is gonna be amazing. I know you guys announced prices one last time. I believe it was $9.99 for everything you see here. It comes with everything you need. It's the X1 carbon, and I believe it was it 800? I think it was like 800, or I got to go back and look at your Kickstarter prices again, because I like blew right past the X1 and I went straight to the carbon when I looked at prices. But also your retail price. If you guys don't want to back Kickstarter, some people don't, and I totally understand that. But your retail price on this thing, if Kickstarter was correct, was that like $14.50?
$14.99.
$14.99.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Let me know in the chat while we're saying our goodbyes what you guys think of that. $14.99 for everything you see here. A 17-minute and 30-second Benchy is what it actually was. We just saw it print out of the box. I didn't touch this thing other than putting it together. So that's absolutely crazy. Let's see. This would be my first printer. Awesome. How many early machines are there? I don't know if they can tell us yet, so I better not ask that question.
How many early birds machines?
Yeah.
Not that many. So you have to do quick.
Get there quick. All right.
Yeah.
You'll have to beat me to it, guys. Let's see. Let's see. How many early would take place? Shipping worldwide? Yes. Is there an estimated delivery date after the Kickstarter?
Yeah, we will start delivery right after the campaign finished. Yeah, that will be the beginning of July.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, everybody else out there, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. I know it's late on a Thursday night, but I had to show this thing off a little bit. And these guys were awesome enough to join. And I just wanted to say to you guys, thank you for letting me be a part of this. It's completely different. It's something that is unique and different. And I really believe, I mean, just from what you guys have seen tonight, this thing is going to be a game changer in the 3D printing world. I can't wait. So nicely done.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. So hang with me. I'll be back with you guys. And then everybody else, thank you guys so much. Have a great night, everybody. We will see you all later. Kickstarter launch date should be something close to May 31st, the end of May. Someone just asked that. And everybody else, have a great night. We will see you next time. Stay tuned. Maybe something, I don't know, something cool will come. Maybe another stream or something this weekend. But you never know. We'll see you guys later. Keep printing, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.